After the release of U.S. Census data yesterday, Americans are getting a better picture of who we are as a nation.
News 8's Tim Blodgett explains how the numbers mean more representation for minority groups here in San Diego and around the country.
And one of the many takeaways of the 2020 census is America's racial makeup is becoming much less white and more diverse. Here in San Diego, for example, over half the new residents added to the city identify as having some Latino heritage. The numbers of the long-awaited 2020 census are out. The National Survey on Population, Housing, Education, and Racial Makeup of the U.S. population shows we are more diverse than ever. Nearly 25 million people nationally reported they identify with two or more races. That's a 275% increase from 2010.
The Latino population, Hispanic population in census terminology, is the largest ethnic minority group in the nation now. In some ways, the United States is starting to look more and more like California has looked for the past few decades.
With a larger Latino population in San Diego, more work will need to be done locally to identify what areas grew and allocate resources accordingly.
Those of us that do this work that are in the community, we've always known that we've always felt that there was an undercount of Latinos in not just in San Diego County, but in the entire country.
While Nancy Maldonado and the Chicano Federation did what they could during a pandemic to get communities to fill out the census last year, she says the number is higher than what was reported.
All the confusion and the misinformation around the citizenship question and how that really increased the doubt for a lot of people as to whether or not they wanted to complete the census.
Because the data was released so late during the pandemic, California's independent redistricting committee will have until December 31st to finalize the maps, meaning the areas around San Diego that showed the biggest growth will see more representation.
In areas where you see more and more diverse groups, they're going to have a louder and louder voice in politics that reflects their population.
As people of color can start to work together to make sure that these resources are allocated to communities of color and that we don't draw hard lines in terms of division.
Tim Blodgett, News 8.